Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I have something different to show you. It's a mini album, but it's different from my normal mini albums. I used this All-American paper, which came from Country Craft Creations. It is a design team project. The size I used was 8 by 8. This paper also comes in 6 by 6 and 12 by 12, and it is a fabulous vintage patriotic collection. It's very different from any other collections I've ever seen. It's got a lot of just a lot of vintage elements. You have to take a look. Now, I did do a walkthrough of this, and I will link that in the description box so you can check that out. What I also used to make this, the square craft tag that came from Graphic 45. Of course, I had picked them up from Country Craft Creations. And as well, I used the die set that goes with it. Now, if you've never used the Graphic 45 tags and dies, so this will cut a cut apart that will fit inside the tag, and it's genius. They were so smart to do that. This also has some clock dies, and I used some of them in different ways than actually a clock, but I know eventually I'm going to do something making a clock out of it. So let me show you what I made. So there is the cover. A piece of something flew around. And as you can see, it is the shape of the tag. It is, it's not that large. 4.5 by about 5 1/4 is the height once you talk about the ribbon and everything. Can you see where I used something from Christmas? Probably not, but if you get a closer look, you'll see there's tinsel behind the Liberty Bell, and that came from Christmas. It added a nice sparkle to my set, and a little dimension. You know, I popped this up and then put the tinsel underneath it, and just a little glitter and glimmer to it as well. So let me take you for a walk inside, and I'm going to separate my tutorial and the walkthrough just so you can get a look at the mini album, and if you choose to, then go check out the tutorial. So we open it up, and there is another ribbon inside. I use seam binding from Country Craft Creations, and this will open like that and then like that. So even if you don't want to cover this glorious image, which you may want to, because that's a perfect spot to put a photo, but if not, you can put small photos there. You could easily put a 3 by 4 photo here and a 4 by 4 photo on there if you wanted to. Now you get the Statue of Liberty here, but you also get it there. So if you cover this up, you still have it here. And this is held together just with this. I did not want to use any magnets on this one. I also, when I made this, I didn't use any coordinating cardstock. I used the pattern paper to make the spine and the hinge. So I didn't want to layer too much, and that's why I didn't use magnets, because I didn't want the layers. You could make this mini album with layers, and I'll show you a little bit about that in the tutorial, but the way I made this one was just with the pattern paper. The Country Craft Creations paper is fabulous. It's got, it folds easy, it scores easy, it takes inking real well. It's just really very cool. So anyhow, it is a top-loading pocket mini album, so I've got these little tags with some seam binding and some thin jute, which also came from Country Craft Creations. This is 3 inches wide and about 3.5, 3 3/4 inches tall. No, it's taller than that. It's about 5 1/4, 5, something like that. And I made this with that tag die as well. I just cut it down so it would fit within the pocket. So I thought the paper is really, really pretty, and there are some places you would want to put photos, but there are a lot of places you would not want to put photos. At the very least, you could get 8 photos on the inserts, and maybe you want to do that. Maybe you had people in the family that served in the military, and just take their photos, maybe even just photocopy it in black and white and trim them down and put them in the pockets. I think that would be something great to bring out every year during Independence Day or Memorial Day, just to honor those that served. It's a patriotic album, and I felt very honored to work with the paper. For instance, here, this one, it shows men at the time that were serving in the military way back when, and you can help American Red Cross. We want you for the Army. Our boys in the trenches. Is there anything they need that you would not give them? Buy Liberty Bonds. I mean, you can't help but feeling patriotic and trying to think back to what the world was like back then. So here is just some ribbon I had in my stash. I backed it on some red cardstock because I would like to have the blue, but I wanted to have touches of red. And when I had red paper, I wanted touches of blue. And it just makes a spot for a little tuck. Now this will open up, and it's sort of a pop-up. This was all in blue, and I actually colored that in. The Liberty Bell is popped up as well. So I love that page. And then here is the top loading pocket for that. Oops, I'll put that in later. So this side has another side loading pocket. It's got these postage stamps. There are some cards, like postcards, that are I cut apart and just put in the tuck spot. I mean, they're art in themselves. I used a punch and cut out 2 different sizes of stars and added that to this red page, Liberty. And then this opens up, and here's another I Want You, and another vintage photo. So that will go down there. Here is the photo mat up at the top. Some more of the stamps in this American medallion that I fussy cut and inked around the edges and just glued on the side and the bottom. And that makes a great tuck spot for these Library of Congress mementos and another postcard. So that will go in like that. This is what I used that clock piece for. I actually made that as a place you could put a photo. I mean, a small photo would fit in there. You could just put it right on here or on the back. And then that fits right inside this page. And the eagle shows through that as well. And then behind that is another photo mat. I loved this image. It's just beautiful. Beautiful done. If this was done with engraving back in the day, that must have taken someone weeks to do. You could put a photo on there. This is open, so you could tuck something in. I personally would not cover that up, but if you make the book for yourself, you can do what you want. I used the postage stamps down here as a little pocket. It's not a pocket where I made flaps. I just glued it on 3 sides and then took more of these fabulous cut aparts and put them in there. I mean, again, you put this on your coffee table and your relatives coming over before the fireworks are going to enjoy looking at this. It's just fabulous. I love this baseball player here and those baseball players. It sort of makes me sort of feel like Field of Dreams needs to be on TV tonight. So there were some sort of baseball player cards in the cut aparts, and I cut them out and made a pocket on one of the tags. Now these tags are pretty sturdy, so you were able to, you don't need any any chipboard for this mini album. You could just use that, and of course you're going to back it and you're on both sides, so it's going to become even sturdier. I'm putting these photo mats in there. Oh, and the back cover has Uncle Sam on the eagle. There is the spine again, and here we are back to the cover. So it's pretty simple to make. I will show you. Here was the prototype. So I was going to do it using some matching cardstock in the craft color, and here I've made my hinges, but I decided instead of matching it with cardstock, I just used the paper, because again, the paper from Country Craft Creations is strong enough that you can do that. It bends and folds real well. So go ahead and check out the tutorial and let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of the Liberty tag mini album made with Graphic 45 tags and dies, and all the material is available from Country Craft Creations. Oh, and let me take a second to tell you, the paper is designed by Tamara of Country Craft Creations, so you need to go there to get it. countrycraftcreations.com. Thanks again for watching. Have a fabulous day.